This is my wife me up meal. Day 5 of a beginner chef learning how to cook. So one person's comment, they're like, not you asking for a ring, not knowing how to cook, girl. Today we're cooking a New York strip. I started by seasoning my meat and then buttering and seasoning my corn. I'm doing the veggies first because they're gonna spend the most time in the oven. Wrapped them up and put those babies in for about 20 minutes. And this was my first time trying purple sweet potatoes. I heard apparently they're a lot sweeter than the orange ones, so I wanted to give them a try. It was so hard to cut that big one, but I like to cut them up so they're like little chips, you know, and then I dose them in olive oil, cover them in seasoning. This is Scott's Santa Maria seasoning. It's the best. It has salt, pepper, everything in it. Also popping that in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes. Little drink break. And then it's time to get started on my steak. I'm going to be garnishing with some chives, so I just cut that up on the side. And then I like to have my steak pretty medium rare, so I'm going to cook it for about 7 minutes. On the stovetop, I did about 3 minutes on each side and then 1 minute on the side since it was a pretty thick steak. Blue is keeping guard. She's like, something smells good. You don't have to, but I just took out my sweet potatoes and flipped them on the other side. That way they cook a little more even. I even flipped over the corn a little bit. Loaded her up with butter, lots of seasoning. And then once those 7 minutes were done, I just put it in the oven for a couple minutes. And lastly, I just cooked my eggs. I like to do sunny side up because there's nothing more satisfying than dipping your steak in the egg yolk. I timed it out pretty perfectly. They all were finished around the same time. I wanted it to feel like a restaurant, so I cut up the steak. You know, they do that at the restaurant. I don't know. And then I put my plate all together. The corn and sweet potatoes were so good. And the steak, just chef's kiss. I think this is my favorite meal I've ever made. I don't know. I think I like the orange sweet potatoes a bit more. Blue definitely liked it.